Hello. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow, you're hearing stories from experts about computers, about technologies, the future. I'm not an expert on computers, but as the first knowledge worker who had his job threatened by a machine, I have certain experience in human-machine relations. So yes, you can call me an HR specialist, or a shrink if you want. So my goal is in the next 30 minutes to make you feel more comfortable about our future and about your future. So not be afraid that, you know, that many jobs will be preserved and some new jobs will appear. So first, you know, let's start with chess. For a long time, chess has been viewed as the kind of unique human quality that's, reflects our intellect. And that's why for many, many years, decades, computer experts looked at chess as a kind of ultimate test, so to recognize machines' intelligence. But chess was also very helpful to acquire certain qualities, and was also taken as a lab, as a field for experiments. And it's not just me, former chess world champion, saying so. One of the best experts in the field of computers also had something that he owned to the game of chess. So we don't have time to go into the details, but it's not just the opening stage of his career, of Demis' career, but it's also the program AlphaGo that later was transformed in AlphaZero, that eventually became the very foundation for his phenomenal work that earned him a Nobel Prize. But as the world champion, or the top chess player, I was kind of a target for these computer experts because, as I already said, cracking the secret of human intelligence, you know, it's needed some kind of metrics. And what could be better than the game of chess? And my first introduction to the world of computers actually began much earlier. So it's even before I won my title in November 1985. So it's still 1985, but it's Hamburg, June, just a few months before I played my match with Anatoly Karpov and won the title. And as you can see on this picture, I don't know how many of you are just familiar with the game of chess. It's one where the professional player goes around moving the pieces in circles. And uniqueness of the event is that I faced 32 chess computers. I mean, judging from the age of the audience, I assume some of you still maybe have these antique pieces of computers that can only play chess. So there were 4 manufacturers. Each had eight models. I played 32. Of course, humans executed moves, but machines made suggestions. So I won all the games, all 32 games. And I have to say it was not a surprise. The surprise would be the opposite if I lost or even if I drew one game. So when I look at this picture, you know, it says, oh, I feel bad because it reminds me of the golden era of human-machine relations. Machines were weak, but my hair was strong. 12 years passed, and now I face only one computer. But that was a fight for my life, chess life, of course. And I always remind people that in 1997, we played the rematch, not just for the sake of historical accuracy. And in 1996, we played the first match, which I won. So it was a rematch, and yeah, it's a famous match. I lost this match. In many instances, you know, and I heard it at so many places, that it was the dawn of artificial intelligence. Deep Blue was as intelligent as your alarm clock. Now, a very expensive one, $10 million a piece, but still it was not intelligent. And as a matter of fact, it didn't have to be intelligent. Because here is something that we ignore, forget, or just don't want to know even today. For machines to excel in any field of human activities, they don't have to be perfect, because there's no perfection in this universe. You don't expect 100% perfection. All machines have to do is to make fewer mistakes. That's it. And naturally, in this match, Deep Blue made fewer mistakes. It's also ironic that the match that was trumpeted as the near perfection, Garry Kasparov made this move, great move, and Deep Blue found the combination, all this, celebrated as the great chess player ever. If you have a chess app on your phone now, so you'll find out how many mistakes we made. A chess engine today will be laughing at the game we played then. So, and by the way, that's also one thing to remember, that is the chess app in your machine is much, much stronger than Deep Blue. So it's just a fact. I just remember, this is my experience there, just going through this, and I thought at the end of the match that it would be a curse. Being a first human being losing to a machine, it would stick to my name and just ruin my life. Now, almost 30 years later, I believe it was a blessing, because I was the first one to understand that the future is not competition. We should not look into the future as, it's dominated by the Hollywood images, Terminators, Matrix. No, it's about cooperation. And also, it helped me to get a more realistic understanding of these relations. Because we hear so many polarized opinions. And it's typically, when you hear somebody talking about computers, it's always about, it's very emotional. Oh, machines, they will, open us. Open us new horizons. It buys us the free ticket to heaven. No, it doesn't. Oh, it opens gates of hell. No, it doesn't. It's not a harbinger of utopia or dystopia. It's a tool created by us, humans. And we should treat it without, again, being overexcited. Just try to be objective. Of course, it's not easy because, machines that made us stronger in the past or fast states, it's one story. But this is, this is cognition. This is something that we believe was sacred. But I tried to actually figure out, so what's next? Again, that's why it's a unique experience. Back in 1997, I had enough personal experience and data to recognize that, I was stronger than Deep Blue in 1997. Actually, I played 2 more matches against other computers, not as publicized as IBM match in 2003 against the Jewish Israeli program, Deep Junior, and then against a German program, and Fritz. Both ended as a tie. But I knew we would have very limited timing left, and machines would get better. And it's a normal cycle. First, machines, it's a laughing stock. Then they can compete. And then there's a very short window on the history timeline where it's a real competition. And then stage 4, machines are much better forever after. So just recognizing that back in 1997 helped me to think about the future and how we can, establish the most effective form of collaboration. But before, of course, I was a world champion. By the way, it was so painful in 1997 because it was not the first match I lost against a computer. It was the first match I lost, period. After 12 years of winning, so it's trust me, it was quite shocking. So that's why I wanted to take revenge. And I tried. I just, I even spoke to Lou Gerstner. I understand. They made a good business decision because they knew after this victory, and by the way, some of my coaches said my worst mistake was not actually to insist on having IBM shares because they jumped, 22% in 12 days. So, yeah. They knew that it would not add anything to the value. And they turned me down. And I was desperately trying to find out what's happened with Deep Blue. As a matter of fact, I was lucky I found. You recognize the place? It's making sushi in JFK, in Terminal 5. I love sushi, but I never ate there. I always just go around. So I had to lick my wounds and contemplate, so this ruminate, so what's coming next. And the next year, in 1998, I came up with what I thought was just a very important step forward, a concept, that what I called advanced chess. So if we can't compete, maybe we should get together. So, and chess became a very important field to actually test the human-machine collaboration. Because, we have something to add to the game. So yes, machine can do many things better. So it's all about, this is the recognizing patterns, calculating brute force. But there's also a human element of that. And we had plenty of games played with humans assisted by machines, playing other humans assisted by machines, and also these humans and machines together with machines playing much stronger machines. And we actually found out that human element is very important. As long as we understand, that's important, that we belong to last few decimal places. We do not have to compete with machines' expertise, maybe 95%, 96% out of this 100% decision-making formula. As long as we understand what we can add to the specific machine for the specific problem, it makes all the difference. And what is also, we found out that is, when you have humans competing against each other with machines' assistance, the formula of success is not necessarily is with the human expertise or with machines' speed, the machine's power, but it's a process, synergy. And often we saw, as a weaker player with a slower machine could actually prevail over a stronger player with a faster machine. Because he or she, or a group of people, could actually find the best combination. It's a synergy, it's a centaur. I think that was quite an important experience. And again, there's a shortage of time just to share all the data that have been accumulated. But there was one of the research made in the University of Milano about radiology. So and they proved that it's not about top professors' expertise. It's about an expert, even without the world-recognized name, who knows how to get the best out of the computer. Again, not to duplicate, not to compete. And the reason I think it's psychological explanation why sometimes you don't want a top expert to work with a machine, because psychologically you don't want to recognize machine superiority anywhere. Trust me. So the moment you start competing, the moment you have this kind of anger or just human pride, standing on the way, you're losing this uniqueness of this cooperation. So now, of course, we all live in a world where nothing happens without machines. And natural question is, so what about all these new LLMs, just chat GPTs, whatever, give these names? It actually fits my formula. Because while machine contains all the data and just, goes straight, and gives you quick answers, I still can manipulate it. And I can show you how. Of course, the question I ask a computer, who is this best player of all the time? Yeah, that's the first one. And you could see it's a very diplomatic answer. Yeah, this is this. Kasparov, Carlson, it's this. Fisher, which is, by the way, it's a correct assessment. If I have to pick up top 3, that will be my top 3. No, I'm not here just to argue. I know it's a little bit difficult because it's this. We all have our preferences. So, but still, it's good. But it's diplomatic. But if I don't like it because I'm too proud, so I'll do a little tweak. No, it's too long. Give me one answer. So. Question matters. So we still have, it's not a switch on the wall, but it's just a little tweak. So now, again, the list could be very long. I just give you one more example. You can read it as machine explanation. No, of course it doesn't freeze at 27 Fahrenheit because it's 32. Again, you can always find a way to go around. So, and there were so many funny stories happened to me. It's back in, I think in 2018, I wrote an article in Science magazine called Chess, a Drosophila of Reasoning. Explaining how chess can be, just an ideal field to test some ideas. You know what? I mean, every second month, I receive an invitation as an entomologist because I'm a professor. Because from AI's perspective, Drosophila, so that says, yeah, reasoning, professor. So AI generated invitations, so to the conference. I have to drop them, unfortunately, yes. Not to disappoint the hosts of these conferences. So now the answer to this problem. Pablo Picasso had no ideas about computers, but he said something which sounded odd when he said it, but this is true. Because question, and he knew it as an artist, is a beginning. And by asking the right question, or a wrong question, or whatever question, you can just make a little difference. So now that's important again to understand. Back to what I said a few minutes ago. Our role is just, okay, it's a time of war now, so I use the military metaphor. So you have a very powerful gun that can shoot 2 miles from here. And all you can do is just, it's a tiny correction. It's a tiny correction of the bullet in the barrel, 0.1 millimeter. 2 miles from here, it will be probably a few meters. That's exactly our role. And recognizing how to do this little tweak, so little correction, that could give us an enormous competitive advantage. And again, I don't want to sound callous. There will be jobs that could go on the chopping block of automation. But it's happened before. In 18th century, beginning of 19th century, it was the agricultural society. These jobs, where are these jobs? They've gone. Then the manufacturing, these jobs gone. So we are undergoing a revolutionary change, but this is not unique. It's changing the landscape, it's reshaping it, but there's always room, as long as we understand what is required. Say, humans plus machines. So this is a very simple illustration of a cycle. And that's why, again, I prefer the word augmented to artificial, because it's basically augmenting our ability to think and to advance the process. So we start with brute force, and by the way, most of the computers, it's still brute force. And then you have smarter machines. Yeah, when it's like advanced chess. And we are just entering the phase, the last phase. It's when you can imagine the human shepherd, just is pushing the flock of algorithms, so in the fields of grass, just in your imagination. Why I picked telescope, the old telescope, for a very simple reason. What does telescope do? It augments our vision. But there's one trick, or just, it depends how you position it. If you look down, you will see nothing but dirt. If you look up, you'll see stars. So that's exactly our role. So this is, we have to decide how we use the technology that helps us to augment, whether it's our vision, our hearing, or our cognition. So I hope that gives you a little bit more comfort in finding your spot, your room in this, in this fast-changing world. Oh, I mentioned Hollywood movies, and of course they had tremendous impact on us. And it's the images of these Terminators, and they had quite a chilling effect. So, by the way, I never understood why Skynet wanted to kill people. I remember just watching these Terminators. But actually, I think that we can look at these movies, at the Hollywood production, from a different angle. So, and just to find out how does it fit the theory that I'm just sharing with you now. by the way, that's not Photoshop. It's a real one. So I visited the Terminator in his office in 2003. So, and he had, by the way, big respect for the game of chess. All his kids, had to study chess. So we played the game, a very short game. I offered draw instantly. Not stupid enough to push hard. I was under the impression that this very short game gave him such a confidence that 6 months later he ran for the governor of California and won. Now, you ask me why this is important? By the way, it's Terminator 2. I think it's going back to the big screen soon. Because what's happened in Terminator 2, human plus inferior machine beat more superior machine. And the human component was very important. Huh? So that's it again. So everything depends on the angle of observation. So I think that in it, more we analyze it, and again, just brush aside the emotions, just try to be objective. Again, I'm just, I'm not Santa Claus to tell you fairy tales. I'm just trying to be objective. I'm just not an optimist or just a pessimist, But I think it's very important for us to push aside the army of doomsayers. It's easy to sell the doomsday scenario. No. So let's, by the way, just think about just what we discussed. So unfortunately, the screen is too big, so machines don't have to be perfect, only better, very quickly. Humans define the problems. The question comes first. Human plus machines need superior collaboration process. Again, process is the key. Understanding your computer. It's like in Formula 1. Now, machines made us stronger, made us faster. Again, if we know how to use it, we get smarter. So this is important for me. I'm 63, so I'm dumb compared to my kids. So they laugh at me while looking for just a button. So it's easier. More sophisticated the program is, it's easier for us, just it's dinosaurs to actually work with this. And this is important because there's so many regulations now, especially in Europe, is this. Now it has to be explainability. I mean, are we in business? Are we looking for explainability or bottom line? No, it's nice. But if it's a black box, but it improves your bottom line, do you care? No, eventually it will get better, but you can't actually push it through. And also the whole idea, when they talk ethical AI. What is ethical AI? AI is just, is looking, at the data we collect and put it in. And if we had social ills in our past or our present, AI will reflect it. Or you start, making your tweaks, but that's not AI. That will be your, your worldview installed. So again, this is recognizing the limitations. I mean, not expecting this AI to solve our problems. Because again, we just put its AI in and it's, no. It's still us. It's just like, you look in a mirror. I'm not physically fit, I don't like it. Two choices, you start training or you distort the mirror. So, okay, you know the answer. So most of us prefer distortion of the mirror because it's easier. So, this is important also, yes. Rote work. I call it garbage collection. And it's this, most of the things we're doing, it's rote work. And AI could actually unleash our energy, creativity. It's just, just have our wildest dreams. As long as we understand, again, it stays there. And it can do all the work that, is being done, but we can just leave it with machines to accomplish. Two pictures. I guess you know what is this one. It's hard to miss. July 20th, 1969. Some people I lived in the Soviet Union, they didn't cover it, but I just know. Apollo 11, it's on its way to the moon. Look at the celebration. Can you say what is this one? It's also 11. It's people are waiting online for iPhone 11 to be released. September 20th, 2019. You know, it's amazing, you know, they're already having in their pockets or in their hands almost identical device. Yeah, I grew up in the Soviet Union. We used to stand in long lines for bread. Yeah, not for, again, device that you bought, you know, identical one just a year ago. So that tells us that maybe we were not effective by using this enormous power that was given to us. Because each device that these people have in their hands is 10,000 times more powerful than the entire computing power of NASA in 1969 when Americans landed on the moon. It's all about fantasy. It's all about imagination. So our wildest dream can be realized as long as we know how to use it, and we're not shy, we're not afraid. The last American walked on the moon, it's 1972, Eugene Cernan. And the good news is now we're trying again. That's, you know, that's confidence. So we recognize that this immense power should be used for good. I mean, by the way, there's no guarantee of success. One of the problems is, you know, we stopped doing space exploration. It's a risk. Yeah, it is a risk. And sometimes, you know, it's a tragic risk. Yeah, so these space shuttles can explode. And anything can happen. Apollo 13 nearly died. But that's another problem of our society. So we think that we can eliminate risk, but they keep the profits. It doesn't work this way. That sounds to me like a socialism. The free market doesn't work this way. So again, should we assume more risk? Yes, and that's a very important one, because we have powerful tools. They know it's no win-win-win-win situation. Somebody wins, somebody loses. As humanity, we always win. When people talk about many jobs lost in I don't know, just mention the same radiology. Yes, there's a potential target of experts, white-collar jobs that might not survive. But opportunities to use this technology to incorporate tens, hundreds of millions of people from Africa, Asia, other continents, that tells us that humanity will always win. So, and just to wrap off my presentation, so I would like to go back to Hollywood, to one of my favorite movies. Just quickly, anybody, what's your favorite Star Wars movie? No, okay, we disagree, so. Mine is Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, actually probably because this was the first movie I saw on the big screen when I was 17 in Rome. Yeah, as a part of Soviet squad, we played in the Chess Olympiad. And so why do I have this there? You remember this moment, of course. Oh, by the way, this is the typical Hollywood mistake, because technically you should do it other way around. It's not 3,721, but 1. So but we forgive Hollywood. So when they just mix chess pieces, I always forgive them. So that's the. Now, this is interesting. Computer doesn't make a mistake, and C-3PO was right. The chances of surviving in asteroid field were 1 to 3,720 against. So, from machine's perspective, from computer's perspective, statistically, to survive, to extend your life, you have to go back to be caught by Darth Vader, by the Imperial Guard, to be tortured and killed later. Because we know the outcome. The value of this 1 is much higher than 1, because it's your only chance. And you cannot quantify it. It's only humans can understand it. So that's why I think it's very important to recognize there's certain decisions that only for us to make. They could have been killed, okay, not in the movie, but in real life. But still it's the only chance. Is it risky? Yes. But you know what? It's very risky to be an attacker, to move forward. But these days, it's much riskier not to. Because your chances of improving your position, improving your business, improving your enterprise, use another space space metaphor. It's better when you're ahead of the curve, when you can see what's coming next. Being second very often is being last. So I hope that in these 30 minutes, I just, I make you feel better about our future. So, well, let's get busy and just, continue exploration. Thank you.